Um, I model Santa Fe's Alma Branch in Kansas as it was in May 1943. And even though I'm modeling a prairie area, there are lots of trees along the rivers and streams. And so I have had to make a lot of trees. And I started out using the super trees. And the super trees are okay if you're modeling trees that aren't mature trees, like young trees. They're just they have their little thin trunks and mature trees are more robust than that. So I'm looked at both making the super trees and also more robust trees. So let's go to another slide. So deciding what to do, I went online and looked at articles that have appeared in the hobby magazines that describe the various materials and techniques for making scale trees. And most important in all, I looked at the prototypes out in the world and used various tree guides to let me visualize what the prototype trees should look like. Okay, here's one of the books I referred to, The Trees of North America. And it was very helpful. And you look at it for models. Go to the next slide. Another field guide to trees and shrubs. Those were very helpful, but the most helpful thing was looking at the prototype in the field. There you go, like this. Here's trees in the Flint Hills of Kansas, the kind of trees that I'm modeling. One thing is I've learned that the trees in different parts of the country, like in the prairie area of Kansas, they don't grow as tall as the trees, say, in Georgia. Several years ago, we had several trees go down, and one of them was 98 feet tall, and the other one was like 120 feet tall. And they fell because of their roots were undermined by rainwater. But in Kansas, the trees would maybe be 20 feet shorter because of mainly less water and a shorter growing season. Okay. There are different basic materials to choose from. Super trees, which are a kind of Nordic tumbleweed, sagebrush, peppergrass, wire armatures. Some people make beautiful trees with using wire armatures, but it seems to me it would take you a night and a day to make a tree that way. Sisal rope, oak leaf hydrangea, flowers, Drosophila, candy tuft. But I decided to use, in addition to super trees, sagebrush. And super tree armatures are good for modeling young trees. The branch structure is very fine, and the trunks work out to be 6 to 9 inches in the diameter. Also, the tallest measure, though, only 7.5 to 8 inches tall, about 55 HO scale feet. So for older, taller, more robust trunks, I decided to add additional branches of super tree material to my sagebrush armatures. Next. These are the tools I use. I have a soldering iron, a low wattage soldering iron, and some side cutters, my X-Acto knife, tweezers. Here's a pin vise with a drill. I used two kinds of super glue. I used I'm trying to think, crazy glue, and then also the I can't remember the other brand, and I can't read it on my screen. And then other tools, the florist foam. When you get your tree towards being finished, and you want to set it up and work on it without it falling out over, you can stick it in the florist foam, and the leaf flake shaker is a good tool for adding leaves. Okay. And I learned that if you're using super glue, any kind of super glue, if it's taking a while to set up, you just sprinkle a little baking soda on it and it becomes rock hard immediately.
Yep.
Okay.
That's a neat tip.
Super trees, if I can talk here. They come in a box that's about 12 by 12 by 4 or 5. And they're stuffed in the box. Like I said, super trees are, that material is a kind of Nordic sagebrush. And I ordered mine from Scenic Express. Okay. And here's an unmodified sagebrush stem that I got sagebrush from, well, some of you guys up in Michigan had some, and I bought that because of somebody, it was part of an estate, and I paid for about 2 boxes full, and I also ordered some from online. And this is what the sagebrush tree armatures look like in their initial state. Okay. Then I'm going back to super tree branches. Look like this. Each super tree branch has a curve in it, and it also has a myriad. You can see the curve there. They have a myriad of smaller branches, and you have to go through and pick out the extraneous branches. They have leaves that you need to pick out because these that don't contribute to your tree making, and then you have to get rid of the curve. Okay. See, here are the leaves. You can see the leaves on there. Keep going there. See, the leaves look like that when you pick them off. All right. The pruned stem looks like this. Next. So you see how the curve is there. And online, when I first encountered these super trees, and also in the materials you get from Scenic Express, they say what you should do is dip the super tree into matte medium and attach a weight to the top and hang it upside down, and it will straighten out. Well, that's a hard row to hoe. It's much easier to do it my way. Okay, let's get the another picture. So to remove the curve, like I said, by the online sources say to dip it in the matte medium. Keep going. I have my 40-watt soldering iron, and I just heat it up and rub it along the hump in the stem, and in about 5 seconds, it's straight, like that.
Wow. Nice tip.
Good tip.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go on. I sprayed the armatures with a medium gray automobile primer. That's what my next step of preparation, like I show here on the slide. Flat gray primer. And they look like this. See here, I have them stuck in the forest foam. I also cut off the top tip because these are they're very pointy at the top, and you want a tree that has a more rounded shape at the top. So you, at least I clip off the point. Okay, then I take the armature by its trunk or stem, and it's a good idea to wear latex gloves. I spray the leaf area with glue. I use, well, there's different spray glues. I don't have any particular favorite. Then using a leaf sprinkler or a sifter or just your fingers, you sprinkle leaf material over the armature. And they have, you can use leaf flake, which is these paper, dyed paper pieces, very, very small, or you can use a ground foam, and I use both. And you have to apply the leaves to all sides. Okay, keep going. Oh, here's the glue that I use. It's Loctite spray adhesive. And you have to turn the tree, you know, all sorts of different directions to get the glue coverage and the leaf coverage. So you spray it with glue, sprinkle on some leaves, turn it another way, spray some more, put on more leaves, you know, until you have your armature covered with leaves. Okay. And I use more than one color of leaves. I sometimes mix colors. I sometimes sprinkle a lighter color on the top to kind of represent where the sun is reflecting. And then if you, as a fixative, I use Max Hold's hairspray. So here are some super trees in situ on my layout. This area will eventually receive a photo backdrop. The photo backdrop is in the near future. This is at Eskridge, Kansas. The grain elevator is one that I won the Dremel Motor Tool Award for kit bashing some Walther's grain elevator kits into the one that's at the prototype that's at Eskridge, Kansas. Okay. Here's another view of some of the super trees here. Here's you can see the lumber yard at Eskridge and the coal yard that's associated with it. And you see the depot in the distance and some bulk oil facilities on the right. Okay. And I placed all these trees. These trees are placed according to some photographs I have. There's the lumber yard at Eskridge. It's going to have a fence, a wire fence around it, which I haven't done yet. Okay, okay. Now, sagebrush tree armatures are available, like I said, from several sources. I got some from an individual advertiser and from Scenic Express, and also from an estate of a model railroader in Michigan. Okay. See, this is a box full of sagebrush. And an individual rough sagebrush armature looks like this. I scrape off the bark. I think, this is my own prejudice, my own opinion, is I scrape off the bark, which I feel is too gross for an HO tree. It might be okay for an O scale tree, but it's very rough and so forth, and I don't think it looks prototypical. So I scrape off all the bark. Here's the bark on the floor of my shop that I scraped off a bunch of trees. Okay. I examine the trunks for gaps that need to be filled. I use automobile spot putty to fill them in. Here you can see kind of a hollow in this armature, sagebrush armature. So I filled it in with spot putty. Okay.
Mhm.
So here's several armatures with spot putty filled. Okay. Then I spray the armatures with gray automobile primer. And there are a bunch of armatures that have been sprayed. Okay. So then I glue pieces of super tree to the sagebrush armature until it's filled out. I use CA. So I just start doing this. Here I've glued several pieces of the super tree material to the branches of the armature. Okay. And you end up with something like this. And then using a dry brush and dark brown paint like burnt umber, I paint over the gray trunk with a dry brush. So you can see here the whole sprayed with the gray primer, and then you can see the brown, some of the brown on the trunk. The final step is the application of the leaf material, same way you did with the super tree armatures. The trees are finished, but not yet installed on the layout. I stick them in blocks of florist foam. So here's a bunch of finished trees here, sitting up on my layout, ready to be planted on my layout. Okay. This is a prototype scene that this is Mill Creek. No, this is Dragoon Creek near well, Dragoon Creek is several places. Near Harveyville, Kansas. Okay. And it was, oh, okay. It was Mill Creek. That was Mill Creek. And this is the Mill Creek Bridge, the pin connected truss bridge on my layout with Mill Creek, going over Mill Creek and with the trees in the background. Okay. The trees in the background are all photographs. And then there's some prairie grass, about 3 or 4 inches of photo prairie grass, and then the 3D scenery meets that. Okay, next. This is another prototype. This is the Dragoon Creek. Okay, you can see the piece of the photograph I showed you. Here it is, the background. The photograph stops right about here. So the photograph goes across almost to the trestle. Then it's a painted river. I paint the sky reflection, and I use gloss medium to add the shine. Okay. here's another prototype shot. One again. So this is the model begins just the layout river starts just about an inch or two beyond the sticking in. The tour prototype tree. Okay. That scene that I just showed you is just to the left here in this shot. Oop, went too far. Need to go back. This is a scene next to the river. About an inch beyond the track is a photo backdrop. The road that curves into the left into the trees. The trees are photographs and the road is photograph. And the cross bucks are 3D, but right beyond the cross buck on the left, the photo backdrop starts. Okay. Oh, there's another scene from my layout. This is Hessdale, Kansas. And this is the stock pen at Hessdale. And that hill is a big, is a main feature of Hessdale. It's beyond the stock pens there. Okay. Another scene from my layout. This is a fill going west from Eskridge. And this is all based upon photographs. Okay. Here's another scene at Hessdale. The two little depots, the passenger depot is on the closest to us, and the freight depot's just a little ways away. And the sand next to the stock pen is stock car bedding. They would shovel that into the car before they loaded the cattle. Okay. Any questions?
I just want to say you've got some excellent scenery.
Yeah, beautiful, Jared.
Thank you.
Very impressive.
Jared, have you tried using a hot glue gun instead of the CA to attach the tumbleweed to the sagebrush?
I tried that. I was very unsuccessful at using hot glue. It didn't stick well enough somehow. I tried Aleene's tacky glue. I tried white glue. I tried yellow carpenter's glue. And the one that really worked best was the super glue, or the CA.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
If Jared, for the
Yes.
source of those of the sagebrush, if any of the gentlemen are going to make the trees, I've made them. I have a good friend in Colorado, and if any of you know anybody who goes out to Colorado or have relatives out there, for example, this friend that I have out there, he shipped me a box size of an appliance box full of sagebrush. So I've kind of got a lifetime supply. And it's free, except for, postage.
Yeah, well, postage is all I paid for the ones that I got from Michigan. You know, they said they were getting rid of these things from the Skies estate, and they said, I'll just fill up boxes and mail them to you. So that's the way I got that.
And years ago, go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead.
If you're getting sagebrush in the wild, do you do anything to kill the bugs or anything, like bake it in the oven when you get it?
I don't.
I didn't
No
either
bugs.
on any. I was told, coming from Colorado, the winter in itself kills most everything that's in it. So I've never done anything either.
My wife and I were traveling by car in Arizona a number of years ago. And because of this tree building idea, I picked up 2 or 3 big sagebrush and put them in like white plastic bags like you use for your garbage, and put them in the car and took them home. And I had them for a couple of years and didn't do anything with them. And then we moved up here to Michigan. So the sagebrush stayed in Texas at that point. But no, we never had any bug problems.
No, I haven't had any.
I agree.
There aren't any bugs in sagebrush.
Jared, could you say a
Yes.
little more? Jared, could you describe a little bit more about using the low wattage soldering iron to straighten out the Sagebrush tree?
Well, it's a 40-watt iron, and I just heat it up and lay the super tree material down so that the curve is up.
Yeah.
And then I just take it and rub it back and forth on that hump, and it gradually straightens out.
Yeah,
It's not rocket science. It's real easy.
I gotta try that.
That works. Works perfectly.
That's a neat
really,
tip, Jared.
It does it, and really it straightens it out in about 2 seconds. I mean, really, it just no time at all. And it's saves a lot of time doing that business of, and it's not messy either. You know, these people dunking their super trees in matte medium and hanging them up and that kind of thing. And the idea isn't new to me. I read it online somewhere, and so someone else had the idea before I did. Any other questions?
Where'd you pick up the baking soda tip on CA? That's one I'd never heard of. I've heard of the gap filling, but instant setup, rather than something like Zip Kicker?
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know where I learned it. I really don't. It seems like I read it or heard it or something like that somewhere. And then I said, oh, I'll try that. And it does. It just, you know, it sets it up much quicker. Sometimes even that's the problem with making trees and gluing these branches on, is getting them to set up, getting the glue to set up. And if it, you know, even CA doesn't sometimes set up instantly, and you need it to set up instantly. So you just sprinkle this baking soda on there, and there it is.
CA sets up because of the moisture in the air. That's why when you glue your skin together, it glues it together real well because of the dampness in your tissue. And so baking soda naturally has some tissue, or has some moisture in it. So it cures it right away. We've done this with model airplanes for 45 years.
Interesting.
What, you've glued your fingers together?
Oh, I've glued everything together.
For 45 years, you've been gluing your fingers together.
Oh, longer than that.
That's how you test the stuff to see if it's any good or not. You stick your fingers together, you know it's still good.
Right.
Well, you know,
maybe put your. It's easier if you hold a tweezer.
Right.
Yeah, it will glue your tweezers together very nicely.
Yeah.
I've done that a few times.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to have a debonder around, or at least otherwise some nail polish works good.
Yeah, yeah.
Acetone.
Yeah, I use acetone.
That works too. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you want to hear a horror story, there was one that appeared in the paper a few years ago. The guy needed he had to take eye drops, maybe for glaucoma, and his wife would help him.
Oh, God.
And she picked the wrong bottle.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
That's an awful story.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Did they flood his eye and eventually debond it with water?
Well, I don't know how they handled it, but he actually probably never did want to look at her again.
Yeah. That'd be horrible.
Yeah.
It's
It
bad
gets
enough
hot,
when we glue.
it'll boil your skin.
Yep, sure will.
Well, it's amazing how quick you can glue skin together.
Yeah.
It takes forever on a model sometimes, like Jared said, but boy, put two fingers together and it's right now.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
onto
that's
a
why they
tweezer.
use it that's why they use it in the operating room.
I used it when I cut
surgeons
myself.
are using.
I don't know about
Yeah.
you guys, but I used it to seal a cut. I just was the other day.
Oh.
I stuck myself with a chisel, carving off stuff off of one of the cars. Didn't put my hand in the right place, and it wouldn't. So I sealed it up with Loctite super glue right away.
Mhm.
Works great. They use it in the hospitals. If you ask
The
your
ER
doctor.
doctor would be proud of you.
Well, getting back to the trees, I'm going to show you something if you don't mind.
Okay.
Yeah, I mind.
I knew you would. Can anyone tell me what this is?
Looks like a root.
Top branch of a tree I had.
It looks like a root.
Well, it's a clipping off of
upside down.
It's a clipping off a bush we had in one of the houses where we live, but I don't know what it is, but it makes pretty interesting trees. So, and that's just with polyfiber and then hairspray and ground foam, and that's one that needs some trimming, but it gives you an idea of. Now, the other thing I've been using is, you know what this is? Apparently not.
It's
a hydrangea flower.
Looks like the same thing.
I think
Same
it's showing,
photo, Doug.
same photo.
Hasn't changed.
Oh,
Got a bunch of that stuff, that first photo from the beach. We have a little house up in Door County in Wisconsin here. Yeah, boy, does that stuff work.
now let's see if we can. What do you see there?
Yeah.
That's the Maynard Mitchell special.
Yeah, Maynard Mitchell likes the hydrangea flowers.
Yes.
He gave a clinic. He gave a clinic at one of Jim Six's get-togethers up in Indiana.
Okay. Well, this is a tree that I made from those hydrangea plants. Again, using polyfiber stretched out and then some ground foam and hairspray. So I've been very pleased with how they're turning out. So I'll stop sharing now so we can get back to the regularly scheduled program. I thank you much, Jared. I picked up a few tips there. So.
Well, you're welcome. I enjoyed doing it.
Yeah, very good, Jared. Thank you.
Nice job.
Good job, Jared. Sometimes
Yeah.
try an azalea trunk too.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we will be back at it again next week. If you're interested in presenting, as always, let me know. Also, Ken is going to be presenting Saturday for the Michiana division at 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern. So if you're interested in that, you can go on the Michiana division group IO, and Chuck will have the link up there for us for Saturday morning. He's going to be, well, Ken, you want to talk a little bit about what you're going to be presenting on?
Well, I live in Porter County, Indiana, which of course is just outside of Chicago, and I am the Porter County Railroad historian. So I will be talking about the history of the railroads through Porter County, Indiana. I don't have a lot of pictures of the Michigan Central, which was the fact I have no pictures of the Michigan Central. But that was the first railroad through, and then I worked my way through from north to south. Because I'm in Valpo, I'm kind of Valpo centric. So I've got the Grand Trunk, the Pensy, and the nickel plate covered pretty well. I've got a bunch of Otto Perry photographs that I've collected over the years. He was a post office worker and a mailman who spent his vacations crisscrossing the country, taking train pictures. And he went everywhere and he traded pictures with everyone. So I've been able to get photographs that he took, and they're really neat. And then that's about it.
Fantastic. So we're looking forward to that on Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern. And then next Thursday, we'll be back at 6:30 Central, 7:30 p.m. Eastern with our normal Thursday program.
Greg,
like I say, yes.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Are you going to set me up with the code and all?
Yes.
To log in?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. All you got to do is click the link, and I'll send that to you this evening.
Okay. Thanks.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks everybody. We'll see you on Saturday or on Thursday. And once again, thank you, Jared. Great job. We enjoyed the program. Have a great night.
Thumbs up, Jared. Nice job.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone. So long.
I'm going to go to the basement and make some trees.
Yeah, right.
Do it.
Thank you much.
I'm going to go eat a sandwich.